Good morning, Mark Soderberg with ADM Investor Services with your morning ag outlook for Friday, November the 8th. Well, happy Friday to all. Prices across the agricultural space are mostly lower here overnight. Rather quiet trade ahead of today's USDA production and WASDE data. Corn prices are holding in there steady to about a penny higher still. Wheat prices actually recovered as well. Chicago December is now up about a penny, down a couple cents pretty much everywhere else. Soybean prices are down 5 to 7 cents. Meal is down a buck or two, and seeing some mixed trade right now in the soybean oil. With spot D's down a little bit, everything else mostly steady. Yesterday's surge up in soybean oil took prices to a 4-month high, which was largely stimulated by a huge export sales report. Sales at 252 million pounds that were the largest weekly sales in over a decade and represent 42% of the USDA export forecast for the entire 24-25 marketing year. Current commitments for the marketing year rest at 86% of the USDA forecast with 11 months to go. So I'm not sure how much of an increase we're going to see from the USDA today. However, a higher export forecast is certainly forthcoming. With global palm oil prices recently hitting a 2-year high, U.S. bean oil has become rather attractive in the global marketplace. I've been expecting a 10 million bushel increase in domestic crush, mostly for higher soybean oil usage for biofuels, but I'm starting to think that 10 million bushel increase is too low. We did have speculative buyers adding about 8,000 contracts of bean oil yesterday to their long position. That extended that now to about 53,000 contracts, which would be the largest in 14 months. Open interest also spiked 11,000 contracts, so indication of new money coming into the market on the long side. Speculative traders also buyers in beans and meal, pretty much flat in the corn, while they were sellers of a couple thousand contracts in wheat. So I'll continue to see some good rains and snow fall across the southern plains this morning, which will help alleviate drought stress ahead of the winter wheat crop going into dormancy. We did see a sizable drop in drought readings in yesterday's updated drought monitor. Corn and soybean acres both fell 10%, while winter wheat acres dropped 5%. South American weather remains mostly favorable. Yesterday afternoon, the Buenos Aires Grain Exchange reported Argentine corn plantings had reached 37%. That's up only about 3% for the week. Bean plantings advanced 5% to 8% complete. However, they also lowered their planted acreage estimate from 19 million hectares to 18.6. They're still slightly above what the USDA is forecasting, however. D's corn made a new 1-month high here overnight, driven by strong demand. Traders have been expecting lower production and slightly lower stocks, down to about 50 million bushels to 1.95 billion. I've got exports up 50 million, ethanol up another 25, with yesterday's export sales data taking commitments to 48% over a year ago versus the current USDA estimate of only up 1.4. Starting to think a 50 million bushel increase is too low. I do think we need to see stocks under 1.9 to generate a move back up into the 435, 450 range for spot corn. Jan beans did back up a little bit here overnight after jumping out to a 3-week high yesterday. Prices are back below the 50-day moving average in the Jan futures. I have not been looking for much, nor has the trade been looking for much of a change in production in stocks. All that said, however, I don't think we can extend this recent strength much beyond, into this 1050, 1075 range without a significant weather problem than what we're seeing in South America. Wheat prices, they just remain in a very tight range, 560, 580 for Chicago and Kansas City, 6 to 620, or really about 595, 620 for D's Minneapolis. Better moisture for U.S. winter wheat, and Russia just continues to offer prices below what the government suggested floor is. So thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great Friday, and good luck with today's USDA reports.